Welcome everyone to the SERL American Ethanol Series Season 2, Race 24 at Road America. This is a new circuit to the SERL in general and the American Ethanol Series. And what can we expect at this racetrack? Well, actually, before I get to that, let me talk about this racetrack. So, the length is 4.048 miles, 14 corners, and there are a couple of straightaways and corners that have specific names. For example, like the Carousel and the Kink, and there are a few more that I'll get into once the race starts. And also, this road course, if I can maybe get a different angle, this road course, even though like you could probably fit four or even five wide, it's mainly to me a 1 to 2 groove racetrack, and so I think passing could be difficult. But Road America, I actually think is probably one of the easier tracks to make a pass because we have some corners like Canada Corner, um, I and the first couple corners that I think make some great passing zones. And Road America historically, um, in our series, they can be filled with a ton of drama, and it's very challenging. And I think this is where we sometimes see the best racers. And I think based on the race yesterday in the truck series at Bridgehampton, there really is nowhere safe. We saw accidents towards the end of the field. We saw accidents inside the top five. So to me, I think that everyone is going to be on their heels, and I think that also in that race we saw that uh, we saw that it is capable that we could have a couple more drivers or maybe several drivers that could be in the mix of it, depending on how things fall. Now we got to talk about the championship picture because after last week's race at Talladega, which had one caution and it happened on lap number one, I believe, Dale Scott was involved in that wreck. He did not DNF, but he also did not finish good. He finished in the 29th position, and that allowed Dean Orton in the 13 to close in, and also allowed Andrew Gorman, who entering that race was out of the picture, but now due to that great finish, he got himself back up into the picture. So the gap between first and third is only 13 points, and at this rate, it's probably going to be one of those two drivers. I don't think anyone else has a chance because the difference between Andrew Gorman and the fourth place guy in points, Torren Dieter, it's 42 points. So with it being this late in the season, I just can't see it happening. Because the only way I could see that happening is if like all three drivers had a really bad day, and drivers like Torren Dieter or Daniel Voiles at the pole center have a really great race. But I think that who knows, that this race could play into this race could help Daniel Voiles maybe get himself up to the top and maybe try to get back-to-back championships. And the 33 Ream Chevrolet did go to victory lane in that truck race, so maybe that will somehow carry over into this race. But anyway, now let's get the cars rolling off. As these cars roll off, let's take a look at the starting lineup. So I mentioned that Daniel Wills is in the pole. Johnny Mills starts alongside of him, and, and right here, the drivers towards the tail end of the starting lineup, they're going to have to catch up. They're not going to be able. They may not be able to catch up in time due to how this game is set up at this track. And anyway, as we peel into the final few corners, Dale Scott, our points leader, starts 36. Dean Orton starts 31st. Andrew Gorman starts. He starts 14th, so that's gonna be interesting. But anyway. Oh, wait a second. Oh, something happened to Tony Rio. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so it looks like that. We're actually going to go another lap, um, under caution. So let's see. Okay, let's take a look and see what happened. When he turned on his engine, smoke started blowing out from the back. So it looks like it wasn't. So it was an engine failure. And for Tony Valerio, who has just had a pretty struggling season, it looks like it's going to continue, which is something that for a driver like him and for a team like that, they don't want to and the season like that at all, and this is why it happened because the drivers behind him had to stop. But anyway, now we're gonna take you back to the green flag. This actually gives me more time to look at the starting lineup. So, top 10, Dan Voiles, Johnny Mills, Torrin Deere, Blaine Keys, Karen Blake, Lisa Gonzalez, Austin Kennedy, Charles Belly, Evan DePaula, Nick Smith. Also, some other last notes. We still have many drivers that are at risk of being mathematically eliminated. Cameron Blake, Jonas Maps Jr., Ben Goldberg, Elgin Mills, Aiden Saunders, Matt Hotchkiss, Abe Troxell, Cameron Garlington, Riley Smith, Blaine Keys, Biff Crafton, Jacob Reed, and Bruno Ketchhog, I think, are all in danger. And actually, when I look up front, I mentioned Daniel Boyles and Torrin Deere in the previous show. Well, actually, they start first and third, so if they're able to finish right around there, and the top three drivers don't have that great of a day, it could actually help them. It could actually save their championship hopes by a lot. But anyway, let's now begin this 8-lap event. The reason why it is 8 laps is that because the racetrack is just a little over 4 miles, laps around here can take a long time, and that explains why the race is so short. Anyway, coming out of the final corner, Dana Voiles and Johnny Mills are the first two to see the green flag at Road America. Let's begin the inaugural event. So Dana Voiles, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a road course or not. They always start on the inside. But let's see. Can Daniel Voiles clear Johnny Mills? It looks like that he will. And now as we go down into turn number 3, and now we're gonna go through or into this straightaway or slight bend that's called the Marine Sweep. I think it's this area right here, and now we head down into turn number 4. Turn number 4 is a trouble spot. Because why? It's a heavy braking zone. Let's just take a look. Is there anyone? It looks like some contact. Was made back here, but for the most part, everyone keeps it going. And now Torrin Deere, he's now moved himself into second place. Torrin Deere, he won the last time we were, of course, he did win that event. So in some ways, it's not surprising that A, he got good qualifying, and B, it looks like that he is moving on up. Daniel Voiles in the 33, the defending series champion, he has yet to win the season, but and I know I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. Compared to the defending champions in the R2 series, he is the best running defending champion. Fifth in points. But anyway, it looks like now it's starting to. It looks like the field's starting to get started in single file. Oh yeah, it looks like some contact was made because look at the damage on Matt Hoskis Ford, the damage to Kendall Maynor. That might cause them. That might cause them to pit. Oh, behind them. This is getting a little close. Almost 3 wide right here between Hurley Haywood, Biff Crafton, and Jacob Reed. Cameron Garlington in the 25. He's currently right now. He started 18th, and last time we were at a road course, he also had a good performance. But looks like that's not going to be as easy today. As Daniel Voiles, he does lead the first lap, so that's 1 extra bonus point. Torrin Deere in the 44, he moves into second place. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that we did actually get through the first lap clean and green. Well, not fine, not the clean part, but we did not have a caution. Oops. And Matt Hotchkiss and Kendall Maynor are now, I think, out of the race. Oh, yes they are. Yes they are. So while that did not bring out a caution, it did lead to a couple of DNFs. So interesting. Anyway, this corner, this area, the trick right here, I think it's called Hurry Downs, and now we go into the carousel. The carousel, which is this long sweeping corner, more than 180 degrees. Okay, this area is Hurry Downs. This corner right here is the carousel. And Daniel Voiles, it looks like he is pulling away. another driver that I think also suffered damage. Oh yeah, Conbury in the 4. Um, I believe Dean Orton has actually been slipping back, or Dale Scott. Actually, I think these two have actually they've been making some ground. And Andrew Gorman really I think he's only gained one spot. You might had just noticed a sort of like break for a split second. That's because I had to go do something very quickly, but I am back. And anyway, now we're going to approach lap number 3 of 8, and I believe, yep, we have continued to stay green, and it would not surprise me at all if we actually uh, um, go green flag the entire way. In the field, itself, it is pretty spread out, and Daniel Boyles, he does continue to lead, but I think Torndier, he's not making the grounds that I thought he would make, but to me, I think that he's doing a nice job at not letting Daniel Boyles just sail away. But if Torndier can't catch Daniel Boyles, then he might want to start focusing on Johnny Mills in the 7. Behind Johnny Mills in the 7 is Blaine Keys in the 88. This is a driver that it's been mostly a good season, but the thing is, the past several weeks have just not gotten in his favor, and I think that he did go from being in the picture to now being out of the picture and looking like he probably is not going to win. It looks like that he's probably not going to be able to win the championship. Behind him is Cameron Blake in the 84. This is a driver that was, for the most part, really good in the early part of the season, but has fallen off. And while he is not running terrible, I don't think it's where he wants to be, especially after being so good early on. 18th in points. Behind him, Austin Kennedy, a driver that has struggled a lot this season, but he's having a nice solid run. Johnny Mills in the 7, I believe him and Jim Kelly are the only multiple winners this season. Johnny Mills won at Kentucky, and then he won at Milwaukee. The other winner, I think I just mentioned, Jim Kelly in the 39, running inside the top 15. He won at South Boston. Then he won at the monstrous Pigs Creek. In the last week, he won at Talladega in dominating fashion. And a couple cars ahead of him, we have Andrew Gorman looking to make a pass on the 60 of Justin Talapas. He's on the bumper. He better not get too close to the bumper, or it's gonna take someone else out. Nick Smith in the 19, just ahead of Justin Talapas. This is a driver that this is not his best day, but it seems like at this season, every single time we get to a road course, he is pretty good. Anyway, now we're here. The battle for second continues between Johnny Mills and Torn Dieter. Torn Dieter gets the good run, exiting turn number 2, and now down into turn number 3. And this has really allowed Dan Boyles to just check out ahead of the field. So it looks like that Dan Boyles, he might just take this thing home easily. I think it's actually over a second. Yes, it is. It is over a second, and looks like that margin is definitely growing. And anyway, and this side by side battle has actually caused Blaine Keys, Cameron Blake to actually catch these two, and now we're actually having a pretty good battle. Here comes Cameron Blake looking to the inside. Blaine Keys can't get it done that time. And so it looks like at this battle right here, this is the best battle on the racetrack. Torn Deer, Johnny Mills side by side, and I'm honestly kind of surprised because at this course there are a lot of left turns and there are a lot of right turns, and to me it would seem like that this would be a course where one driver will have the advantage and get away with it, but nope. In one corner, Johnny Mills has the advantage. In the other corner, Torn Deer has the advantage. Side by side for second. Behind him, Blaine Keys in the 8 looking to make up any ground. Now Torn Deer, whoa! I think Blaine Keys had to actually check up and get out of the throttle, and now he's on the bumper of Torn Deer. And this right here has actually really bunched up pretty much the top several. And now a lap ago we were looking at Andrew Gorman and Justin Talapas. Andrew Gorman takes the spot away from Justin Talapas. Ben Borelli looking to pass Charles Belding, a driver that has yet to win, a driver that has. I'm trying to think. Did Charles Belding has Charles Belding won this season? I don't think so. I can't remember. Ben Borelli in the 40 has won this season, and it was at a recent road course event at Chatham. Behind these two, it is Nick Smith, and Nick Smith might actually, for a second, I thought he was going to make a 3 wide, but nope, gets out of it just in time. Lisa Gonzalez under attack from Evan Paula. Two drivers that really started their season on the rough track, but have actually improved in the mainly in the second half of the season. Anyway, now that Johnny Mills has taken the second away from Dean Orton and is pulling away, can Johnny Mills possibly reel in Daniel Boyles? He has a long way to go. That last time by almost 3 seconds, and a large part of that was because Johnny Mills. Just because it did take Johnny Mills a long time to get by Torn Dieter. Let's just see. He has 3 more laps to do it. As I go through the rest of the field, Abe Troxa in the 24, it looks like that he's probably going to get eliminated because like I said at the beginning, he is one of several drivers that is at risk of being mathematically eliminated. And while it looks like that his title hopes are over, I think that for him, Abe Troxel has had one amazing comeback after being around dead last for the majority of the first half of the season, and ever since the second half has become, he has gone a lot more better. It looks like that similar story for Aiden Saunders, but to me, I think that there were a couple of times where I felt like good finishes or even a win got taken away from Aiden Saunders. For example, Nashville, he dominated the whole race, but then on the last lap, while battling for the lead, he got wrecked. O'Neal Balvin in the 85. A driver that I honestly feel like I haven't really talked about a whole lot this season. It's been. To me, I think it's been a very up and down season for him. 21st in points ahead of him, Elgin Mills. I believe he started his season on the wrong track, but did make big grounds in the second half of the season. Philip Goldberg in the 18. Wait a second, I actually forgot. It's Philip Goldberg, Jim Kelly, and Johnny Mills. The only multiple winners this season. Philip Goldberg won at Kansas and then won at Dover. Randy O'Neal in the 42, a driver that it's been mostly a struggling season. Cliff Crafton really has had. I believe he's had the worst season among anyone in this field. I believe he has spent the majority of the season 42nd in points, and hopefully, and just simply a season to forget. Alan Gray in the 26, another driver that I feel like I also haven't talked about too much this season. He's also had a pretty up and down season, 23rd in points. Ahead of him, a side-by-side battle between Arsh Hassan, a driver that I believe last season was in all 3 series. This is the only series he's in this season, and for the most part, it just hasn't been that great. He's outside the top 25 in points. He's outside the top 25 in points, but alongside him, Cambrian, who I feel like a damage really has hurt Cambrian a lot. I think he has been dropping back in several positions, and I think like Arshad saying, a veteran that has just mainly struggled. Anyway, so now we return to the front to find Daniel Boyles. Behind him, Johnny Mills. He did close the gap a little bit that time. So let's see if he beat this time. It looks like that. If anyone is going to win, other than Daniel Boyles, it will be Johnny Mills, because Torrendier, Blaine Keys, Karen Blake, Austin Kennedy, etc. I think they're just all too far behind. So let's see, the margin this time, it was... Wow. Wow. John Mills cut it down to almost a second at times. So Daniel Boyles, he might want to, he might want to go into go time mode. Now Daniel Boyles, like I said, he might want to go into go time mode because I feel like that if Johnny Mills can do the same thing he did at the last lap, he could possibly be on the bumper by on the final lap, in the final few corners. Uh, he'll be on the bumper of Daniel Boyles on the final lap in the final few corners if Johnny Mills can do that. So we'll just have to see. I wonder. Let's see. Darn, the helicopter can't get both of these drivers in the same shot. Darn it. But actually, let's go on the back of Daniel Boyles. Let's see. Johnny Mills, he is sort of there. It looks like that he is kind of closing. And way off in the distance, you can see Torn Dieter, Blank Keys, Austin Kennedy, etc. But let's see. I think. Okay, it looks like Daniel Boyles. He has actually been pulling away, but I think maybe Johnny Mills. I think maybe Johnny Mills actually outbreaks Daniel Boyles better because wow, look at that. I think the heavy braking zones are Daniel Boyles Daniel Boyles' weaknesses. But anyway, so here we go. And exiting, I think this is the final corner. Let's just see. Okay, so I believe the margin. Should be shorter this time. And there you go. The white flag is out. One more lap to go. What's the margin? Down to 1 second. Johnny Mills, he's gonna have to be super aggressive if he's gonna have any shot at closing the gap. Let's just see. Daniel Boyles cannot make a mistake at all. If he makes a mistake, Johnny Mills is right there. So here we go. Down into the marine sweep. And heading down into turn number 4. I think at turn number 4, I think that corner might actually decide the race. Who can get through this corner better? Johnny Mills, it's now closer. It's closer. So here we go. Now we're gonna head down into the hurry downs part of the racetrack and eventually the carousel. This part right here, this is hurry downs, and now we're down into the carousel. Can Johnny Mills close in the gap? Okay, here we go. This is hurry downs, and now right here we head into the carousel, the long sweeping corner from the top to the bottom. Daniel Boyles and Johnny Mills. I think Daniel Boyles. He was actually able to pull away through that corner. But anyway, here we go. This corner, this upcoming corner right here. This is the kink. This corner right here. This is the kink. And now heading down into kettle bottoms. Johnny Mills is there. If Johnny Mills can get through Canada corner, which is this upcoming corner, he might be there. But let's just take a look. Johnny Mills is there. Closes the gap. That time. Here we go. And down to the Mitchell Bend and to the final corner of the race. Johnny Mills. It was a great try, but anyway, coming out of the final corner, Daniel Boyles is gonna see the checkered flag, and he will be our winner at Road America. I think that if Johnny Mills just had one more lap, he would have been there. And I think that what also cost Johnny Mills is that it took him a long time. It took him almost 2 full laps to get by Torn Dieter. Or maybe even more than that, and I felt like that's what really hurt him, because to me, if Johnny Mills could have gone by Torn Dieter much more faster, then I think we would be talking about Johnny Mills as a 3-time winner. But Daniel Boyles, Daniel Wales, the defending series champion, finally gets the win and breaks the long win streak. The last time he did go to victory lane in the series was the season finale one season ago, and actually in that season finale, um, he did actually kind of have to win in order to win the championship. It was really a great battle last season between, I think it was between Daniel Voiles, Andrew Brandt. Uh, 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 I know Stuart Gradden was in it, but I forget the fourth driver. Oh, darn it. So, sorry if you're watching. The sorry, sorry if you're watching this. But anyway, um, let's now fast forward all the way to the pits, and now, now let's take a look at the official standings. So I think that this is possibly the first time ever in this series that we have gone green flag, uh, from start to finish, no caution flags at all, I believe. But 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 even with that, we did have two drivers that did retire, and actually one driver that didn't start the race at all. It was the zero of Tony Valerios. So even though it doesn't, even though it only has two drivers marked out, it really should be three drivers. And kind of minority Matt Hoshkus, there was some kind of stack up in turn before. I don't think I'm gonna show, but there was some kind of stack up, and they caused a lot of front damage, and that is why they weren't able to finish the race. They only completed one lap. And so now how is the championship? And so now how is the championship picture going to look? Well, once again, Andrew Gorman makes gains on the top two in points, Dean Orton and Dale Scott. Dale Scott did finish ahead of Dean Orton, just a little bit, so Dale Scott should extend that gap between him and Dean Orton. But I think, let's just see. Actually, I think Andrew Gorman might actually be he might be our points leader. Andrew Gorman needed in order for Andrew Gorman to take away the points lead, he needed to finish more than 14 spots. He finished 13th. Dale Scott finished 27th. Do you know what? It might be tied. It might be tied. But whether Andrew Gorman is our points leader or not, whether Dale Scott is our points leader, whether it is a tie, it is now a super close battle heading off to Las Vegas. And in Las Vegas, you may not think of it as a track that can produce wild racing, racing that's like Daytona or Talladega. But to me, based on last season, that's the kind of racing we got, and I think in that race we could be in for a lot of lead changes, etc. And I think that'll be the race where, for Dale Scott, Dean Orton, and Andrew Gorman, that I think that's gonna be the race where the championship is either won or lost. And that's possible. But also, yeah, think about it. With Daniel Wells and Tori Deere finishing first and third, they might actually, if they can finish really good at Las Vegas, in the top three don't finish as great, we could be looking at we could possibly be looking at this as a 5-man race entering the finale, and I think that would be pretty cool. But in racing, anything can happen, and that's pretty much it. So I would like to thank you for watching this race. Be sure to rate, comment, and subscribe. And congrats to Daniel Wales on your first career victory of the season. And and yeah, that's pretty much it. Bye.